Welcome aboard Disney's Magical Express. Our Disney cast members have been hard at work preparing the vacation kingdom for your visit.
Welcome back to Disney Marvels for week of January 9th, 2022. This is episode 160. Disney Marvels, the show about Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Pixar, 20th Century, the parks, and much, much more. If it has to do with Disney, it's fair game. I'm your host, Matthew Graken. Hey, I know I must apologize. I've been talking about the surveys. I've been trying to get those going, and I forgot. It was a busy weekend. A lot of things unfortunately changed last minute, and I did not put a survey out there, so I must apologize, everyone. I will try much harder to get one out for you all this weekend. I have been putting questions attached to the show, but I think that only appears in Spotify. That's something new that I am still playing around with and seeing how that goes. But I'll definitely try and get something out to you guys soon. So keep an eye out on Twitter, on Facebook, and we'll get those to you. Otherwise, I do want to make sure to mention or remember, and I don't want to dedicate a whole show just because I think it will just kind of, it's bringing down the year too much. We just had Betty White last week that we were doing a memory of, and now we have two people. We have Mr. Sidney Poitier and Bob Saget, both people connected to Disney in different ways. Sidney Poitier was on the board of directors and known for his remarkable book of work in acting and everything else that he did. Fine gentleman. He is a loss to society, and so is Bob Saget. Full House and America's Funniest Home Videos, his stand-up comedy, both their legacy will live on through their works, just like Betty White. Their legacy will live on through their works, and the world will miss them, but was thankful. We are thankful that they were here and we got to spend time with them and what they shared with us all. And on that note, we'll be back after a message from our friends and sponsors. And now, on with the show.
Attention, everyone. I'm your motor coach driver, Gus. Well, I might not be your motor coach driver, but I am one of the many multi-talented individuals charged with piloting this magnificent fleet of motor coaches. And I'm here to share some very important information about this fine piece of machinery you've recently boarded.
This week marks an unfortunate end to an era in Disney transportation, particularly Walt Disney World transportation. Something that a lot of us probably have ridden on if we've gone to Walt Disney World, particularly if we've flown. If we flew, you probably rid on one of these buses, and that's the Disney Magical Express. We pour one out, we take our hats off to remember the time that was the Disney Magical Express. I remember before Disney Magical Express, and so it's kind of weird having to go back to that. Growing up, we'd often take the auto train, so it was something we didn't have to worry about. This was well before Magical Express. Magical Express came around in 2005 for Disneyland's 50th anniversary. Magical Express was a service launched May 5th, 2005 as part of the happiest celebration on Earth for which was the Disneyland's 50th celebration. It was free at the time, and it was is included in your rate for your hotel. You had to be staying on Disney Resort property, and they would pick up your baggage from the airport. You didn't have to do anything and just whisk you away. Before that, and obviously I had been to Disney World many times before that. Before that, like I said, growing up, we'd take the auto train. On the occasion that we did fly in, we would do some sort of reservation with Mears, usually taking a shuttle bus. Occasionally it was a coach bus that would have to take us, but we'd take a Mears bus. It would bring us right to our resort. We'd bring our luggage down to the section of the terminal and go right on over. Then later on, my wife and I would go, when it's just us, we would usually rent a car, because how else are you going to get about instead of renting the Mears? Once in a while we would rent the Mears, but we would take a car. This way it gave us a little more freedom to go about and do things as just a young couple. And so we'd rent a car. But in 2005, that all changed when the Magical Express rolled around. This is a good way to save money. It gets us right to our resort. We don't have to pay anything. They picked up our luggage right away. And it was just a nice little ride. You get to watch this little video, which I always enjoyed. I enjoyed those videos. And we would take the tour, take you to wherever. You'd sometimes stop off at different locations first, and depending on the bus route, and then they'd drop you off at the resorts. Mears did a similar thing. Where you would get on the bus, and sometimes it was just you and your group. You would go right to your resort, or it'd probably be you. Usually it was you and another group, a couple of other groups, and then depending on the route would depend on which resorts that you'd stop by. Which in some ways that was fun. You got to see the different resorts. You come along and I've never seen the yacht resort before. I've never seen one of the other, the resorts were, the Polynesian, or you'd see the Contemporary, but never been that close to Contemporary. Whichever one it was, you got to get a little closer to different resorts there, and that was a lot of fun. So I want to just talk about the history of the Magical Express, being that on the 10th, it was the last day. Well, actually, the 9th. The 9th was the last day that a Magical Express bus rolled out to. 10th. I apologize. 10th was the last day. Magical Express bus didn't bring a guest from the airport to a resort, but it brought guests away from the resort to the airport for what will be the last time. But as many things with Disney, you never know. Something down the road may come to replace it. Universal apparently has a paid-for service that they are running. But we shall see. Important thing to remember is that enjoy the memories that we do have, that it did provide us. The Magical Express service initially faced a lot of opposition from a lot of the other transportation groups, the taxi drivers, the other livery services, saying that it will take money away from them because it's Disney's own internal thing. It was an effort to keep people even more so in the Disney bubble. And you know what? Can you blame them? As one would expect, when it launched, it became extremely popular. In fact, by 2013, it's estimated that the Magical Express carried roughly about 2.3 million people. 2.3 million people were transported within 8 years of its beginning. 2010, even some airlines, Allegiant Air, announced that they would be moving their flights towards the Orlando International Airport and from their initial Orlando Stanford Airport, based particularly on these facts and the convenience and the demand of people going to Orlando International Airport. Eventually, though, they did have to move back, citing that the Orlando International Airport was too expensive. And we think it's expensive on our end. Like I said, 2015 Universal even decided to start their own, calling the Superstar Shuttle. But that did carry a cost, apparently about $40 a person, 39-ish. And you'd have to carry your own luggage. The great thing about the Magical Express is that you would get luggage tags in the mail. The Disney Travel Service would send you luggage tags. You would put your information on it, tie it to your bag. Whenever you got to your home airport, or the one that you're departing from, you drop your luggage off. The next time you had to see/deal with your luggage, Lord willing that it made it all the way, that something didn't happen with the airline, because that never happens, is in your hotel room. Because Disney had partnered with a service called Bags, where they would pull your luggage off when you landed at Orlando International Airport. Your luggage, because it had the tags on it, would get pulled. It would load onto a shuttle service and be brought to your resort. Then cast members from your resort would deliver it to your room. Talk about convenience. You didn't have to wait at the terminal, wait for the bags to come out, fight the crowds to pull your bag out, and then lug your luggage halfway across Orlando International Airport. Because I could tell you from my last experience back in August, when we did that, that was not a lot of fun. Having to keep eye on my two little ones and carry the luggage, because after a while, they got tired of carrying their luggage. Orlando International Airport is a fairly sizable airport. So you're walking from one side to the other, especially if you arrive in A section and Magical Express was in the B section. You had to haul down, up and down escalators. Maybe you got lucky to get an elevator. But to be able to carry all that stuff, it's not, like I said, not a lot of fun. It's not always the most magical way to start off your vacation. And when you get there, you want the magic to begin as soon as possible. And that's what Disney was doing. You didn't have to worry about your luggage. You didn't have to worry about the transportation. You walked off the airplane, walked down to the lower level Terminal B. You got online. You checked in with the Magical Express. They told you which bus to go in, which lane. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it was. Your bus arrived. You got on with the other guests. You sat down. You relaxed. And you enjoyed your trip to the most magical place on earth, the vacation kingdom of the world. The bags representative would pick your bag. It was delivered personally to your resort, and the Disney cast members would bring it up to your room. Why did this stop? Sadly, there's a very good reason why this stopped, and it stopped, no surprise, in 2020. It stopped when Disney shut down its parks because of COVID. And that was something that was one of the unfortunate things that did not come back and will have never come back from COVID being out there. It was one of those big losses. So we lost the benefit of the baggage claim. The hands, because of the touching and everything. And I understand that. I completely understand why that was something that they had to do away with when they reopened the parks in June, July, when they started to bring back the Magical Express. I get it. Doesn't mean I don't miss it, because obviously I do. But it was a brilliant key factor. It was, again, that kind of that Disney difference that it wasn't they used to have this white glove treatment. And it was kind of, that's what you think of when you go to the hotel, when you go to like those fancy resorts and hotels and stuff. How when you get there, they instantly take care of everything for you. And Disney was doing that, but they took it one step further. They met you at the airport. And again, part of that Disney magic, your bags, the last time you saw them was when you checked them on at the airport before you boarded the plane. The only bags you would have are what you carried on. What you carried onto the airplane, carried off the airplane, obviously, and go forward. So when we were younger, and we had our daughter, and it was just the three of us, and this was just shortly after Magical Express came around. So to be able to try it out and put in all of our luggage, the only thing we had to deal with is the diaper bag we carried, our own little personal bags that we carried, because I always carried my backpack with a whole bunch of stuff in it, just a whole bunch of portable DVD player and a video camera, all that type of stuff. So I would bring that with me in my backpack. My wife would have her bag with her stuff in it. And obviously, we had a little one, so we'd have the diaper bag. And then we'd have the stroller, which, for those of you that have traveled with little kids and strollers, you wheel the stroller up to the front of the airplane. They stick it on the bottom. When you get off, they bring it up. You just pop your kid back in, push the stroller along. And it's great. I didn't have to worry about any other bags besides the one backpack on my back, which I can handle. I was able to handle the diaper bag stuck underneath the stroller. I can handle that. No problems. Hakuna Matata, as Timon and Pumbaa would say. Go across the airport, work my way down to the bottom Terminal B, and there's the Magical Express. Get online. Here we go. We're going to this resort. Why, welcome to Orlando, they would say. Right this way to your Magical Express, they would say. Okay, I would say. Get on the bus. They put the stroller underneath the bus. We would sit there. We would watch a nice video, listen to some music. The bus drivers, some of the drivers that I've had were so fantastic. So fantastic, telling anecdotes and joking along and telling stories with the guests aboard. And really, again, it's that Disney difference that they brought. Funny thing is, though, they weren't fully Disney cast members because this was run by Mears. So it was contracted. Knowing Disney, usually even if you aren't employed by them, but you're working in their service, you still have to go through Disney training. And I'm certain those drivers would have done so. And as far as I know, I don't believe they were Disney cast members. Could have been. But it was everything was contracted through Mears. So you would just go right along. And then the bus would bring you to your resort. Enjoy your stay. We'll see you whenever you're ready to leave. And then that was that. And then when your vacation was sadly over, you would have a pickup time. You would meet the bus around that time. You'd get back on. Again, you have dropped off your luggage. You'd hand your luggage at that point to, I believe it was Bell Services. I could be wrong. Maybe you just brought it to the bus, but I think it was Bell Services. And that was the last you had to deal with your luggage again. You didn't have to lug it through the airport. The Magical Express would bring it along. You would get to the airport. You would just go right on, and there you go. Oh. But things unfortunately had to change with times. Now, us being in the States, we are spoiled. We think this was for everybody. Sadly, this was just for people within the United States and Canada. If you, well, as far as the luggage goes, that was the United States and Canada. If it was international, you did have to bring your luggage with you. I apologize. But you could still make arrangements to have it delivered. You'd bring it and you drop off at the Magical Express. They'd still bring it to your room. But it was after that, yes, you were required to carry your luggage. Like I said, I had to bring it. It wasn't fun in August, but it's what you had to do. I still got to ride on the bus, and I made a point to make it extra special for myself to try and remember all the details because I knew it was going to be the last time I would be able to take a Magical Express. Taking a few extra pictures, taking an extra moment to take in the sights of the bus and enjoy the cast member who was driving it, the bus driver. Now, some speculate why this went away. Disney says it's because of change in trends for how people want to be transported. Others say it's because of the announcement of the Bright Line that's going to be extending from Orlando International Airport going through Disney Springs. Who knows? I mean, there could, or some say other things. It could be so many different reasons why. It could be many different reasons why. The thing is, we don't fully know. We weren't in the room when it happened. But we are the ones that do have to deal with it. We do have to remember when we can go on and remember the good times. The times that we had on the Magical Express. The convenience of it. And like I said, I'm sure at some point, maybe 20, 30 years from now, maybe something else will come along. Again, we have the Bright Rail to look forward to. So what does that mean? We don't know yet. Because it hasn't been built, so we don't know exactly what all that can mean. We're even just assuming that it will happen. As things go, some projects get announced and never actually fully happen. I think there was going to be a second part to Pop Century Hotel. There was going to be the yesteryear section, the oldies, the 10s, 20s, 30s. Never happened. Started to get built. Never happened. Now it's Art of Animation. So it eventually became something else. But there's been many other resorts and stuff that were promised, that we were told were going to happen. Sometimes constructions even started. The Venetian Hotel. How many times have they brought that up? Never happened. So we don't know. We don't know what the future will hold. We can tell you this. Mears has started its own service back up. Basically, it's the same place that Magical Express was run from. They just put their logos and everything on it, took down all the Disney stuff, and just put up the Mears name. And they were the people providing it before. They're the people providing it now. There is a cost. It's not free. Obviously, Mears is going to want its cut now. And rightfully so. They're providing a service. So you can take the Mears bus, and it will take you to Disney. Again, it will not necessarily be direct. You can, for an additional fee, you can go direct. You can get your own little shuttle bus, and it'll take you directly to your resort. There's an additional cost to that. There's a cost for it to just go by yourself. In a group, I mean. Go in a group. Roughly $200, $250 for 4 people. But that is round trip. It is round trip. You do have to bring your own luggage. They're not going to get the luggage for you. So, that's where we're at now. You could always call a limo, private limo service. You can go to the rented car. You can Uber, Lyft. Lyft is the preferred Disney rideshare provider. If you're a larger group, that becomes tricky. Also remember about car seats. A lot of them are great. They do carry car seats, but not all of them. So that is something to keep in mind. So, what were some of your memories regarding the Magical Express? Did you ever use it? And if so, did you like it? Let us know. Join the conversation on Facebook. Facebook.com/Disney Marvels Podcast. on Instagram at Disney Marvels Podcast, on TikTok at Disney Marvels Podcast, and on the Twitter at Disney Marvels. Don't forget to find our YouTube channel and subscribe there, because we've got some fun stuff coming up that's going to be going up on there. Also, you could leave us a voice message. You could leave us a voice message through the Anchor app or Anchor.fm website, or record it on your own device, your computer, laptop, iPad, iPhone, tablet, smartphone, etc., and email it along with any questions or suggestions you may have to disneymarvels@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out the Disney Marvels blog at disneymarvels.blogspot.com. Links to all these are in the show notes. I want to thank you for your time. I know how crazy life can be and how little time we all have. And the fact that we've spent some of this time together means a lot to me. Please, let your friends know. Tell your friends, tell your family, people that you know who are into Disney and Disney stuff. Let them know about the Disney Marvels podcast. Spread the word, or share it out on social media. Share a link on social media. Sometimes that's the easiest way to be able to spread the word about the podcast, because a bigger Disney family is a better Disney family. That's what Walt believed. That's what I believe. While you're at it, don't forget to give the show a rating over on the Apple Podcast rating or your favorite podcast hosting site. We have all 5-star reviews on the Apple Podcast. Again, blows my mind. Thank you so much for everyone who's left a rating. And anyone who hasn't, please go on, give us a 5-star or whatever you feel we deserve rating over there. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the show. This way you always know when a new episode is posted. And while you're at it, consider becoming a premium subscriber. Help the show out. Movies are back in stock in the theaters. They're not free anymore on Disney Plus. So if you want those movie reviews, help us out. You can do this over at anchor.fm/Disney Marvels/support, or find our Patreon page where you can get some cool different stuff that way. You could also check out the Disney Marvels store, where you can get some Disney Marvels branded merchandise and some other merchandise. Also help spread the word that way too. You get to get some clothes, you get to help the show out, and you get to help the show out in 2 different ways. You get a little bit from the sale, and you get to advertise it on your clothing. Kind of funny how that works out. Links to all these are in the show notes, because remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. Whatever you're facing out there, whatever troubles and whatever darkness you may be facing, you are not alone. You are worth it. You are special. There is a light that's inside of you. You may not always realize it. You may not always feel it. But it is there. Never give up. Never get in. Let that light shine for everyone to see, because it is truly beautiful, like you. You are special. You are wonderful. Never forget that. Now I'd like to end this show with a quote from Walt Disney himself. But if we can bring together the technical know-how of American industry and the creative imagination of the Disney organization, I am confident we can create right here in Disney World a showcase to the world of the America Free Enterprise System. Again, that was Walt Disney. Thank you again for listening, everybody, and I'll see you next time.
All of us at Disney's Magical Express hope you have a magical stay and build memories that will last a lifetime. We leave you with words of welcome from our original Disney cast member, Walt Disney himself.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.